Welcome everyone, my name is Tariq Johnson, and the purpose of this video is to explain 3 different things. And after you watch this video, you're gonna have a clear picture of what it's like owning a franchise, and you get to hear it directly from a franchise owner himself. So after watching this video, you're gonna have a clearer picture of 1, what does it even mean to own a franchise? 2, what is it like to own a franchise? And then does it make sense for you to own a franchise? So my name is Tariq Johnson, and I've built a 7-figure franchise business with 2 different locations that were 2,400 miles apart. And my first location that I opened was built from scratch. The second one I bought as an existing location from someone who owned the store previously. Make sure you watch this video to the end because I'm going to share something with you that you're not going to want to miss. So let's get into it. So number 1 is, what does it mean to own a franchise? So before you can understand what it means to own a franchise, it's important for you to understand 2 different terms. Number 1 is franchisor. Number 2 is franchisee. So a franchisor is basically corporate. Franchisor is the one who owns the intellectual property, and they're the ones that issue and grant the licenses for franchise owners. So as an example, Dunkin' Donuts, the corporate would be considered the franchisor. A franchisee is the individual who signs an agreement with the franchisor. So that's the person that owns the franchise. So going with the Dunkin' Donuts example, if someone owns a Dunkin' Donuts, they are the franchisee and they have a relationship with Dunkin' Donuts, who is the franchisor. So it's very important that you understand those terms, especially if you're looking to own a franchise, because those are terms that you're gonna hear come up constantly. So make sure you cement that in your head. Franchisor is corporate, franchisee is the individual. That's as simple as it gets. So when you're buying a franchise, you are really buying the rights to own and operate a business under that license. You're buying the intellectual property, the trademarks, the way that they operate the business, the different vendor relationships that they have for the business as well. So that's really what it means to own a franchise and what it is that you're buying. And a good example of this is sports teams. You hear in the NBA and the NFL, you hear about people talking about what they want to do for the franchise. So as an example, if it's the Orlando Magic, you might hear someone, I say Orlando Magic because I'm in Orlando, not that I'm an Orlando Magic fan, but you hear people talk about, well, the franchise is performing this way, so on and so forth. So even when you buy professional sports teams, it's still a franchise because you are buying the rights to operate a business, and you're granted that license by the NFL, the NBA, so on and so forth, right? So that is still a franchise in that sense. You're buying the rights to own and operate that business and that intellectual property. So a big question people ask is, why would you own a franchise as opposed to doing your own thing, right? Like, why would you give up some of your sales and have more rules than instead of just open your own business? Well, there's a few different reasons why, and I'll tell you a quick story. An example of why my wife and I decided to go with the franchise model as opposed to doing our own thing. So when we decided to open our first franchise location, at the time we were living in California, hence why I told you in the beginning of the video that I had a location that was 2,400 miles away. We decided that we were going to open a juice bar. And after deciding that we wanted to open a juice bar, we started doing research at the different brands that were in that space. And at some point in the conversation, my wife said, why don't we just do our own thing? Like, why don't we just start our own business from scratch? Like, these guys are gonna take about 10% of our sales. Why would we want to give that up? And I remember very clearly, we had gone for what's called Discovery Day. You'll learn what Discovery Day is. Discovery Day is basically when you go to the franchisor corporate and you meet with the different executives or high-level people in the company, and it's an opportunity for them to get to know you and and for you to get to know them and basically see if it's a right fit initially. So we had some of the literature and different marketing collateral from Discovery Day, and I pulled the menu that we had gotten for this particular brand, and I showed it to my wife. I said, how long do you think it would take for us to create this menu? Not only how long, but how much money do you think we would have to pay different vendors to come up with it? And in just looking at the menu, I mean, it was beautifully done. We'd have to, one, come up with the menu. So this particular menu had at least 30 different products on it, between juices and smoothies and acai bowls. So we would have to either, one, pay someone to come up with the products, the names, the ingredients, make sure the flavor profiles match up. Then we would have to find a graphic designer to create the design for the menu. I mean, it's just a long process. In my mind, that would have taken 6 months to come up with all the different products, to figure out all the different ingredients. So that's one of the reasons why we decided to open up a franchise, is because when you buy franchise, you are buying a system. There is already a proven system, unless you're buying a brand new franchise and you're the first franchisee to buy that franchise, but you're buying a system that has already worked. They already know how to operate the business. They already have the vendor relationships. They already have the products. They already have the marketing systems. So you're really buying that benefit of buying a business that has been proven. Now, going the franchise way, it wound up helping us a lot, because knowing myself and my personality, I tend to overthink things a little bit. So if I had to make all those little intricate decisions about creating products and menus and selecting vendors and going through approval processes, quite honestly, I don't think I would have ever wind up following through. And putting that $25,000 deposit to buy the rights to operate the franchise location, it made us committed that, okay, now we got to get going. Now we got to sign a lease. Now we got to take all the next steps. So that's huge in business, and owning a franchise is that when you sign that dotted line with the franchisor, you're committing yourself. You're putting your butt on the line, whereas if the barrier to entry is a little bit lower and you're just paying $1,000 to kind of start figuring things out, you might quit because your risk of loss really isn't that high. So in this case, operating under the franchise really helped to commit to the process of opening the business and really being held accountable for moving forward. And it wound up working out really great, because our second month in business, we wind up being profitable, doing over $30,000 in sales our second month open, which was an amazing blessing. It was so exciting. We were incredibly nervous about if it was going to work out. That was our first time doing something like that, opening up a physical location, an 8-week build out with a general contractor. I mean, it was just intense. And I actually documented and packaged exactly what I did step by step to get that location profitable in our second month in business. If you go over to my website, tariqjohnson.com, you can go ahead and grab it for free. It's called my 7-Step Blueprint to Business Profits in 60 Days. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be posting a lot of videos about how you can get started in the franchise space, all of the past mistakes and even successes that I've had as a franchise owner, and it's going to be really valuable. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you can stay in the loop with all of the videos that I post. Also, it really helps the channel if you hit the like button and just leave me a comment to tell me what your thoughts are, questions, feedback, anything like that. It helps to make sure that people keep seeing this video so they can get the valuable information.